Space News 32, July 18, 2024. Hello again. Thank you for being here with me once more. I hope you are very well today. I am Marie. This information can be seen as science fiction, or as the viewer sees best, and I post it for entertainment purposes only. Still, I take my information very seriously, and for whoever has eyes to see. The first piece of news for today. Notice the great similitude between Hurricane Turquoise Sea in Tema and Hurricane Beryl in the Caribbean. I even know that many of you have noticed their great similitude because of what you have posted on social media. Yes, CIC on board this ship looks. They both came out of nowhere, out of time, or out of hurricane season, then grew into Category 5, or F5 hurricanes. They both moved west while gathering strength before impacting highly populated areas, such as Jamaica, the Caribbean coast of Mexico on Earth, among other places, and Toleka City and its neighboring towns like Crystal Cliffs, in Tema, both with devastating effects. At least at one point, they both took 7 human lives on Earth and 7 on Tema. I did notice a certain dislike from my public when I wrote about the hurricane in Tema, not from all of you of course, yet I'd like to point out that Hurricane Beryl happened a full week after I published Turquoise Sea Hurricane in Tema here in my YouTube channel, so no one can say that I wrote all that just for likes. And I also noticed that several meteorologists on Earth claim that Hurricane Beryl acted very strangely, almost as if it were artificial, I quote. This is to the point that some people up here claim that Beryl is a dimensional mirror of Turquoise Sea Hurricane, while others highly suspect that it may be an artificially made mirror, perhaps even a message to the Taygetans. All weather is heavily controlled on Earth, and this is nothing new as they have been at it at least since the 1940s, so it is quite hard to isolate one weather event and study its artificial causes from here using sensor equipment, because as everything is controlled, it is easier and safer to assume that Beryl was artificially created as well. What our sensors see from up here is a complex mess of microwaves and other high-energy transmissions bouncing around the Earth's atmosphere and ionosphere, while their action is being accentuated and propitiated by all kinds of chemicals, especially metals, which are being sprayed from aircraft, and which cause them to activate more on one or another specific area on Earth. In other news, I don't go into Earth politics here on my YouTube channel, but I will use the recent attempt against Trump's life to remind you all that everything on Earth is just a show, especially politics and power struggles. What you saw on TV is elaborate theater, but even when, and even if it is all false, and it's all made up, it doesn't mean that people are not dying. It may all be part of a show, but it is a sick one full of hideous rituals and sacrifices, so rest assured that what they are telling you in the media is not what is really happening. Trump most probably knew what was going to happen, but probably not so too, as that effect in his ear could have been created with movie-like effects, such as false blood pouches which explode when he pushes a hidden button. Or a really good sniper was instructed only to hit his ear, which would be an incredibly dangerous move, or maybe he really did miss hitting Trump. But even if it was a real attempt against his life, it would still be more theater. As I said above, it can be lethal, yet it is still theater for the people. Lethal and real from one level of consciousness and point of view, only theater from another, and I mean this even from a human-only point of view and level, even more so when involving different existential realms and densities. Anyhow, what is being told is not what is really going on, as you can see that there were predictions that apparently could foresee that this was going to happen, for example, the Trump silhouette in The Economist magazine, showing a question mark right where his right ear should be, or predictions in the Simpsons cartoons. I know this will irritate many of you who see Trump as a savior, but he is only part of the same game. If you remember well, he did not do anything about the bug that was all over the place, back when it was starting at the end of his last presidency, and he had to know the truth about it. He is said to be fighting against the deep state, but let me tell you something, that deep state as such does not exist, as it is not only local to one country, it is global and even extends its tentacles off-planet to the shady Galactic Federation. It is all a show, and all the data, including that attempt against his life, points out that he will most probably win the elections. Probably, I insist. In other news, the light, fast cruiser, Starship Sadekleia, has finally completed its trials as a brand new, squeaky shiny ship, and it is scheduled to arrive here in Earth low orbit, today the 18th of July, 2024, between 14:00 and 15:00 hours US. Central Time. Starship Sadekleia is a Toleka 2, or Toleka Batch 2 class, fast cruiser, designed to be a multiple-purpose platform. She is state-of-the-art, super-equipped, and will arrive here in low Earth orbit to reinforce the Taygetan fleet and presence here around the planet, and some of her 50 crew members will also participate in the controversial Second Contact project. As usual, there will be a big welcome party on board Starship Sadekleia herself. There will be more Taygetan media, so I am expected to be there in person, although I am seriously considering using remote presence only, because of safety concerns. In other news, Captain Gori'el of the Starship Alcyone and his friends attended the Second Galactic Federation meeting that took place last Saturday in the Andromedan biosphere ship Viera, and in the same place where it was held 2 weeks ago. This is his report in his own words.
My executive officer Umbriel, Commander Oficial, 2 of my security guards and I arrived at the Viera using a standard shuttlecraft, and we were instructed to land in the hangar bay marked with the letter E, which is the one that is always assigned for Taygetans. When we arrived, there was a numerous Alfratan welcome party that was sent to escort us directly to the conference room, the same one as 2 weeks ago. Although those Alfratans said that they were a welcome party, my friends and I felt them to be more of a containment group, sent to prevent us from wandering off into other parts of the Viera, perhaps to prevent us from discovering the true amount of people and races that were attending those meetings. During the first meeting, the Alfratan representatives who did all the talking even admitted that they were separating the attendees by race, so we also assume that they are doing the same to separate star races that are friendly to one another, and with this preventing them from sharing ideas and concerns against the Galactic Federation, but I speculate. We were escorted to the usual small conference room, which could only hold some 200 people or so. Only 34 people were there, and with me and my 4 friends, only 39 people were attending the meeting, mostly Centauri Alfratans and a small number of Antarians, same as the last time. The same Alfratan representative and his 2 helpers greeted us, and then started to talk about the need to keep the Galactic Federation united and with good cooperation between all its members. To be able to do so, he insisted that the star races we represent must go to the source of the correct data, the Federation itself, and stop developing our own complicated theories which have no fundament nor any proof, as those only end up hurting us all, creating distrust and separation among the entire Galactic Federation, which must always be united. When I lifted my hand and asked, if that is so, why the people of Earth are then kept separated and in a realm which does not reflect the greater truth, but before I could even elaborate on my question more, I was strongly and disrespectfully interrupted by the Alfratan representative, that only said, questions last, questions last. Not questions last please, that would have been polite. He used an imposing tone, and demanded questions last, period, an attitude that annoyed me. This also let me realize that he had been previously warned against me, or against whatever any troublesome Taygetan may ask. Then he continued to talk about the importance of containing Earth and all the people inside it, supposedly to prevent evil from spreading from Earth and into the peaceful and loving star races of the Galactic Federation. When I asked him why the Galactic Federation could not see that isolating Earth as they are doing right now would only generate more of the evil they supposedly want to prevent, the Alfradan's representative simply ignored me, lifting one finger as if he was about to answer my question, which he never did. He continued to yap about the same subject for the remainder of the 2 hours we were there, while he shared innumerable examples of human evil as the reason why humans must be kept in isolation until they develop the ethics and the skills to be accepted into the galactic community, eventually. The conference then became a horror show of photographs and short video presentations, showing war atrocities from the so-called Middle Ages to World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and the present day's War on Terror. I asked no more questions for the night, and right after the meeting finished we were, very kindly, I am being sarcastic, escorted to our shuttlecraft, which returned my friends and me to our ship, the Alcyone. We will be back there in 2 weeks. Executive Officer Umbriel, Commander Oficial, and I send all of you our best wishes. Sending much strength to all of you, your friend, Gori'el.
In the last piece of news for today, the High Council of Taygeta notified me that Queen Alanim instructed them to wait for a month Earth time or so, before telling me that she had passed the full responsibility of being the Taygetan Queen to me, even though she had told me that I was in charge only while she was in the medical pod. The High Council of Taygeta decided to inform me of the above, as they saw my capacity and worth, while managing a strong crisis situation with the Turquoise Sea Hurricane in Tema, without missing or neglecting my other duties. The High Council of Taygeta informed me that Queen Alanim had abdicated before entering the medical pod, and therefore I am now the full Taygetan Queen, although once a queen, always the queen. I am now Queen Marie Swaruu, the first of Taygeta. This will be all for today. As always, thank you for watching my video, and for liking, sharing, and subscribing for more. It helps this channel grow a lot. And I hope to see you here next time. With much love and appreciation, your friend, Marie Swaruu.